Tell us more about the history of St. Mary, so rich, and a bit of the architecture and what you know about it.
Yeah, well, there has been a church in this, if you like, in the parish of St-Mary-Le-Strand going back to about 1100. The original church was knocked down by the then Duke of Somerset to build his palace, which is on the site of where Somerset House is now. And then for about 100 years or more, there was no parish church for the people here, so they worshipped at the Royal Chapel of the Savoy, just next to the Savoy Hotel. And then after the Great Fire of London, St Paul's Cathedral was rebuilt, and then after that there was an Act of Parliament to build 50 city churches, and St-Mary-Le-Strand is the first of those 50 new churches. The parishioners here petitioned the city commissioners because they were without a church, and so they, in a way, St-Mary-Le-Strand is very significant because it's the first of those new city churches. The job of being the architect for this church was given to a young man called James Gibbs, who had just finished his training in Rome, and he came back to England, and his first commission was St-Mary-Le-Strand. He was very influenced by Christopher Wren, so as you look at St-Mary-Le-Strand as a building, it's sort of, you can see bits of it are a bit like Christopher Wren's work, and you might, for example, the West End looks rather like the north and south porticos at St Paul's Cathedral, but other bits of it look like he's just modelled it on something he saw in Rome. So it's got those kind of nice mix of influences. It's a very Baroque style church, and very kind of highly decorated, and we might go upstairs in a moment and I can show you the ceiling. But Gibbs, this was his first public building, and in a way it made his reputation. He then went on to do other churches, perhaps the most famous of which is St Martin in the Fields in Trafalgar Square, so just down the road. That's a little bit more austere than St Mary-Le-Strand architecturally. It's a bit simpler because the fashions had changed. In fact, unfortunately for Gibbs, there was a change in fashion almost like halfway through the project, and he was sacked from the job of being the architect, and he persuaded the commissioners to let him finish it. He didn't take a fee for the last part, but he knew that this would be the church that would make his reputation and get him work in the future. So this is the church that was kind of made Gibbs famous as an architect, and there's a lot of renewed interest in him. And we're about, so the church was actually consecrated in 1724. So we're 2021 now, so we're coming up to that tercentenary of the completion of the church, and that's going to be a big part of our celebrations as we redevelop and restore the church, thinking about how we can tell Gibbs' story and celebrate his legacy and his achievement with St Mary-Le-Strand.
Thank you so much, Peter. That was really incredible. Thank you so much for your time.